Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to go over some different battery monitoring shunts, the 500 amp battery monitor kits you can buy off of Amazon and other places. I've been using several from different manufacturers, and I'm going to give you my feedback off of that, and also I'm going to show you the programming and setup on these units right here because there's some questions coming in. I'm going to try to be helpful, so let's get right into it. So I've got several of these, each from different manufacturers. This is an old Enjoy bought one right here. This is one from Power Queen, Renogy, and another from Lead Time. I'll go ahead and tell you right off the bat, first part of this video, the 4 different brands I showed you, the only difference between them is just the sticker on the display. They're carbon copies or they're clones of each other. There's no discernible difference, in my opinion, between the 4. So I was showing you the programming and setup on this display right here, but rest assured it is exactly the same across all the brands I have showed you. And I'll show you the shunt wiring and setup. This one's actually going to that Power Queen shunt I showed you a minute ago, but then again, every one of these has the same parts, so it'll transfer over to whichever brand you have or whichever brand you may be thinking of purchasing. So I'm going to show you the 500 amp shunt first, how to wire it to your batteries to get an accurate count. So you got 2 terminals on the shunt. You have a B terminal, and right behind here where you can't see it, it's the P terminal. The only wiring that goes to the B terminal is going to your batteries. So this wire right here is my solar charging coming in, and this is my load right here going out. So the way the shunt works, so if I've got solar charge coming in but no load and the batteries have capacity to absorb charge, the meter will count it going back into the batteries. And so if I've got no solar and turn on a load here, it's going to count what's coming out of the batteries to keep track of energy transferred in or out of the battery bank right here. So you can see the battery lead right here going to the common bus bar to connect to the different batteries right there. And then the same thing on the solar, it goes to its bus bar up top where all the solar or AC charging and things come in. And then the only load is the inverter. So right there is the lead from the P side of the shunt to the load. And there are also 2 other connections on the shunt. All the manufacturers that I mentioned at the time I bought the different shunts gave you a 20-foot shielded lead right here, shielded cable for your display, and a sampling lead. So this is your shielded cable. It just snaps in right here on the shunt and then snaps in on the back of your display. So just route that to the back of your display wherever you're going to place it. And then the sampling lead right here, there's 2 little terminals. You need a TB or terminal block screwdriver. Some of them include a little tiny cheap screwdriver, some of them don't, but you'll need a small flat blade screwdriver to put your sampling lead here, and then this goes to your total positive for the battery system right here for its reference voltage. Then that sampling lead I showed you, just bring it to your positive bus bar, or if you're using one battery, just to the positive terminal of the battery. And the other end of the shielded cable I showed you a second ago, you can see right there, it just plugs into the back of your display. And all the displays have these little snap tabs in the back right here. So when you cut out your opening, if you're using like a single layer of plastic or something like this, it will actually snap up in there. And it's got some little teeth that help hold it in place. And another feature all of them have, you see right here in the back, this little bunch of little holes right here, there's actually a little buzzer inside, a little tiny speaker in there. So if you trip your low voltages and things like that, it will beep at you, but I'll show you more of that in just a second. So whatever mounting option you're using, plastic, some little plastic housing, cutting it into a piece of plywood or whatever, just get your dimensions close to whatever the book is showing you, or just trace it out on the back, and then it snaps in and holds pretty good. Or if you have a surface that you don't want to cut a hole out, or some real thick metal like this stainless steel right here, I didn't want to cut a hole out. I just bought some industrial Velcro, some super heavy duty Velcro, and I've had this display Velcroed right here for well over a year and a half or so now, and it stays on there. It's been rained on, the cart gets washed. You know, this is on a golf cart right here, so it's been out in the elements and stuff like that. I'm going to show you the setup in a second, but I'm just going to show you the display right here. Let me get the lights down. When there's no energy moving in or out of the battery, the display goes down to its low backlight right there, no light on it. So if you're going to discharge the battery, say put a load to your battery, the display will be solid green while it is discharging. So you can see right there, the screen lights up. You can change your brightness on the screen for whatever suits your needs, which see it washes out in the camera at anything over about 6 or 7, and it's really bright on those higher settings. So 5 is a pretty good number in my opinion, but that's just based on your ambient lighting and whatever needs you may have. And notice also the displays also give you a time to empty right there. It's kind of slow to update, so bear with it. It's not instant, so you got to give it a minute, and it'll finally come into a number, gives you a decent estimation of how many hours of capacity, hours and minutes that you have left. So I'll turn the load off, and now I'll show you the display when it's charging. And then notice once you initiate charging, you see the display is flashing right there. So that's indicating that we're moving energy back into the battery. And then, of course, it's already back up to its capacity count of 945 amp hours. So that's indicating 100% state of charge with 0 time remaining. So if you're not charging or discharging your battery and it's nighttime or whatever, wherever you're at, and you need to see what your display is, you just push the up button one time. That will turn your display on for a predetermined period of time. Then it'll go back to no backlight. There you go. The same principle applies to all the brands I've showed you. The different ones, they have a little different, maybe designator on their buttons, but it's either an OK button or return button right here on the bottom. So you just hit this button for programming. Okay, that takes us into the program menu. So you can see the first entry is capacity. So up to 9,999 amp hours capacity, if that's what you got. This is 945. This is a little hybrid system right here, just a little experimental lead acid and lithium combo system I tinker around with from time to time. So we're going to use this display because this one's not mission critical. I'm not actually tracking energy out of it currently. So just show you on this one. I'll show you all the menu entries first. So I have capacity right there. And then we have our full voltage, our 0 voltage, our power off voltage, our alarm at amp hours of capacity. And then we have an attenuation rate, and I've actually got an attenuation rate programmed into this one because it's lead based, and each cycle the actual display of the shunt itself takes off a percentage of its capacity calculation for each cycle of the battery. So you can change that for lead, AGM, gel, whatever kind of battery you're using, and there are charts available with a simple online search to let you know what your attenuation ratio should be for your cycles of your battery. That's basically how much you're aging the battery for every cycle. All that's in the menus right there. So to get back out of the menus, you hit this button right here. It's always the top button, regardless of the logo on the brands that I showed you. So you can go back out of it, or we can go back into it right here. So let's go back in. Let me scroll back up. These come preset at 100 amp hours of capacity. So if you want to change your capacity, you just hit the enter button or the OK button again. So we added 1,000 amp hours of battery to this system. So we didn't change anything else, just change our capacity. So just to save it, you just back out of the menu right there, and it goes to flashing with your little icon. See your little icon there where you move it. So just go back out right there, and then now we're only less than halfway there. So just showing you how that works. So I added my new batteries in. I'm not full. It estimated, it doesn't count your new batteries. Say if they're 100% state of charge and your existing bank was 100% state of charge right there, this does not know. So you have to let it know. So if you hooked in batteries that weren't full state of charge, you can let it run through a charge cycle, or you can push this button right here for several seconds, the up button, and it will set it to 100% capacity. Just hold the button right there for a few seconds, and it'll update it to 100% capacity. If you know all your batteries were empty, when you put them on there, you could program it down to 0, let it count through, either go off trigger on amp hours of capacity that's counted through it, or to your voltage. So I'll show you that too. So let's say the batteries weren't at 100% state of charge. I'm going to program it back down right here, run it down to 0% right there. I'm going to go into the menu, go to the menu right here. Okay, so 1945, we have a full voltage setting and a 0 voltage setting. Now, it depends on your personal preference. This is a lead hybrid system, so I set it at 14.4. And if I'm going to use it on a lithium system, I usually put it in at 14. Well, went too far right there. I usually put it at 14 even on a lithium system. So when the charge controllers come up to 14, if it's either going to trigger that full by either counting the capacity moving in, or when you get to your charge voltage right there. So if the charge controller is sitting at 14 volts, boom, it'll jump it up to 100%. And then 0 voltage, I run the same on all of them regardless. 11.5 volts is my 0 voltage. It'll If it's 11.5 volts under a load or sitting there, whatever, it will drop down to 0. So let me just show you an example of this right here. So I'm going to swap this down. Let's go down to, so don't take too long to, I put it at 13.5 right there just for playing around. So 13.5 right there, and I've already got that run down to 0. So now watch this. All right, so I've got the charger back on right there. And once these hit 13.5 volts, you'll watch it go to 100%. So I'll just let it record, and I'll cut out what we don't need. Okay, so we hit 13.5 volts now. Give it a few seconds, it'll update and show 100% on this. Right there, it took it about 10 seconds, which is normal for all of them, and it updated to 100% state of charge. Same principle applies for the 0 voltage. It will do the same thing. We'll set it to, we'll make it quick, save everybody some time. Set it right at 13 volts. So put that there at 13 volts. We're at 13.2, so now I'll apply a load to it. Once it gets below 13 volts, it will trigger down to 0% state of charge. See how quick that was? And it gave us a little audible alarm right there as well, letting you know that the batteries are empty, you know, even though they're not. That just depends on your setting right there. And as long as you're pulling any kind of minuscule load at all and below your voltage, it will beep at you. But if you go back to a completely 0 load, it will stop beeping. Either 0 load, it'll quit, or you bring it above its threshold, stop that beeping. As soon as we put a little bit of a load back to it, it will beep at us again. So you can see right there, it's got a little minuscule load, and it's flashing the battery voltage again right there, and it will alert us with a beep here in just a second. So there we went. It alerted us again. Go right here, and I'm going to change all this back. I will fine tune it back later. See, now we won't be on the voltage trigger, even though the capacity, let's set the capacity back to 0. So we don't have the voltage trigger right there. So I'll show you how it works without a voltage trigger. Even though we're showing 0, it's not going to beep at us. But if I go in here and have the alarm setting above 0, it does something a little bit different. So I'll show you that now. So I'll put it at 100 amp hours, and the voltage, 0 voltage, is still way low. So we'll go back out right here. So see, it starts flashing on the amp hours capacity alarm instead of the voltage trigger alarm. Hopefully that demonstrates how that works. The difference between the 0 voltage and then the 0 capacity. And then here's the lead time I'm using in my RV right here. Same setup applies. I'll show you my voltages on it. It's a lithium iron phosphate system, of course. I got it programmed at 14 volts full and then 11.5 empty. So I never drag them down that low anyhow. Keep track on the capacity. So just show you what I got right here. I got the alarm at 0 amp hours, attenuation at 0% because it's lithium system right there. So just showing you a representative example that it's programmed and set up right there. And of course the batteries are full right now. So when I've needed to buy a battery monitoring shunt, I just price shop the major brands on Amazon, you know, Power Queen, Redodo, Lead Time, Renogy, Enjoybot, and I just pick whichever one's got the best price or the best coupon at the time. And usually 9 times out of 10, one of the brands will have a deal if you're going to look for a battery monitoring shunt. So I'll include some links in the description down below so you can easily find a battery monitoring shunt if you need one for your battery system. So any other questions on these battery monitoring shunts, setup, wiring, anything I can help you with, just let me know in the comment section down below. I always try to help you to the best of my abilities. Hope y'all enjoyed the video today. As always, thank you for watching. Y'all take care. Be safe. I will see you on the next one.